Hey up, Mr. Josh here, and welcome to video number, I think it's number 7, but I could be wrong, for Listen and Understanding. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to go to the link below this video. That will take you to my website. There you can download a question sheet. At the top of the question sheet there is a link to YouTube. Watch that video as many times as you like, answer the questions, then come back here to see how many questions you got wrong. So in this week is international movie star and all-round nice guy Will Smith, who maybe you know or maybe you don't. If you don't, then you've probably been living under a rock somewhere because he's world famous. So the reason he says that he started this YouTube channel is because he can now be himself. It's Will Smith, the man, not the actor who has to do what he's told by the studios. And in this particular video, he talks about facing his greatest fears. So, I have my trusty tablet. Let's get into this. Facing my biggest fear. Question number 1. Will Smith opens the video by confessing to something that most people don't know about him. What is it that most people don't know about him? So the thing that most people don't know about him is that, as he says, he doesn't fuck with the ocean, or doesn't basically get involved with the ocean. And I am totally with him on this because I live just next to the ocean at the minute, unfortunately. And as far as I'm concerned, the ocean is big, blue and wet. That's it. We do not belong in the ocean. We should not go near the ocean. Everything in there either wants to eat you, kill you, or try to have sex with you. We don't belong in the ocean. We should just avoid it at all costs. And can you hear the sodding noise of my neighbours? I wonder how many years in prison I would get for killing my neighbours. Anyways, the joys of living in Spain. Moving on, question number 2. The video is part of a series of videos called The Bucket List. What is a bucket list? So this question is written in green, meaning that it's not answered directly in the video. You need to sort of like Google it, do your own research. But a bucket list is basically a list of things you want to do before you die. Now, in case you're wondering why do they call it a bucket list, it's because we have an expression called kicking the bucket. And to kick the bucket is to die. So all these things are things you want to do before you kick the bucket, before you die. So that's why it's called a bucket list. And oddly enough, there's a good film with Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson called The Bucket List, which is worth looking up. It's 2 old guys who discover they got months to live and they go off on a big adventure. Question number 3. Will says that the ocean is like a beautiful woman. But what negative thing will the ocean do to you? Well, as he says, the ocean will tear you to shreds. So if you're wondering what that means, take this tissue. If I tear it, that is just torn, yeah? But to tear it to shreds is literally like into hundreds of tiny little pieces, is to be torn to shreds. I've got to clean that up later. It's the maid's day off. Question 4. What activity did Will try in the past that had him hyperventilating? Well, that would have been snorkeling. So snorkeling is when you have like a mask and a tube coming off your mouth, so that you can sort of like swim on the surface of the sea or wherever. And that had him hyperventilating. So hyperventilating is something that you get when you have a panic attack. You can't control your breathing. You start sort of giving it the whole yeah, that's to hyperventilate. Not to be confused with having sex, where you might be doing the same. Question number 5. Will flew to Lizard Island. Which country is Lizard Island next to? Well, that will be off the coast of Australia. That's the big place down in the south of the world. Not Austria as in the place in Europe, okay? Australia. Question number 6. We see Will dressed in a wetsuit on the beach fooling around with the crew. Which famous movie tune is he imitating when one of the crew tries to bite his fingers? Now, I was very surprised that of the 4 students that I showed this video to, only 2 of them knew that this was a tune from Jaws. If you've never heard of the film Jaws, that's probably because you live in a country where they translated it into some other weird kind of thing. Like here in Spain, it's just called Shark, as opposed to Jaws. If you've never seen the film, you should go look it up. Question number 7. How many times has Will been scuba diving? Well, up until today, never, because he doesn't go near the sea, as he said at the beginning. So this is his first time. Question number 8. As they're getting ready to leave, who tried to reassure Will that it's safe to go scuba diving? Well, that would be his 2 Australian dive instructors, Jimmy and Davey, who, from what I saw of them, they look half crazed and I wouldn't trust them at all. Question number 9. The weather turns nasty. Which of the following best describes Will on the boat during the storm? A. Relaxed, B. Excited, C. Anxious, D. Awestruck. So that would be C. Anxious, because he looks actually panic-stricken, like, oh my God, we're going to sink. The other words, relaxed, well, I think everyone knows what relaxed is. So if you're excited, it's like, yay, I'm really happy, I'm excited, I want to go and see some sharks. And D, awestruck, is when something is like really impressive. Like if you see, like for me, when I went to see the Petronas Towers in Kuala Lumpur, that left me a little bit awestruck. Not a huge amount, but a little bit. If you've never been to see the Twin Towers, you should see them. They are massive. Question 10. When Will was 25, he never thought he'd be swimming with sharks. True or false? Well, this is false, because as he said, he always knew he would. Question 11. The guides get into the water first. What are they trying to do in the water? Well, what they're trying to do is make the sharks come to the boat, which is kind of stupid in my opinion. Why would you want sharks next to you in the water? But, everyone has their thrill in life. Question number 12. What does Will ask if he can do to any shark that comes too close to him? Well, as he says, he wants to know if he can just punch them in the face. Because there is this weird theory that says if a shark comes up to you, if you just punch it on the end of the nose, it will go away. If you've had success with this technique, do please tell me about it. I want to know if it's true. Question 13. When asked how he's feeling, what does Will say in reply? So what he says is he has a headache, that his heart is pounding, boom, 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 and that he has a shortness of breath, which is all down to anxiety. When you're nervous, scared, having a panic attack, all this is everyday reality. This I know because I have the same problem. I suffer from panic attacks, so not as much as I used to. Now that I've given up working as a driver and I'm not stressed 24 hours a day, it's more controlled, but yeah, I know exactly what he's talking about. Question 14. Will jumps off the boat into the ocean. What does he hold on to guide him downwards? Well, the thing that he's holding on to is some kind of anchor chain or rope or something, okay? Whatever you put, it's fine, as long as you said that it was a rope or something like that. Question 15. We see Will stroke a shark during his dive. True or false? False. He strokes a fish. Don't ask me what it is. It's a fish. It's black and white, and that's about as much as I know about fish. Question 16. Back on the boat, what does Will spit over the side of the boat? Well, the question he asks everyone is, have you got blood in your mouth? So I think we can safely assume that that's what he was spitting over the side of the boat. It was blood. As he says, maybe he was holding a regulator in his mouth too tight and he bit himself by mistake. Who knows? Having been scuba diving myself, even though I can't swim, I can tell you that holding that thing in your mouth when you're not used to it is damn hard to do. And not to mention, when I went scuba diving, breathing through your mouth and not through your nose did not make my chest hurt. So, went once was enough. Question 17. Will asks if it's cold. What other reason does he give for feeling cold? Well, as he says, is it cold or is it just because I'm nervous? Because sometimes when you're nervous and you've got that shake on, you start tremoring and you feel chilly, even though it's not chilly. Question 18. What was the first fish that Will saw on his dive? Well, the first fish he saw was a shark, because he says it. It's unbelievable that the first thing he saw when he got in the water was a shark. And you do see it briefly below him going round and round in circles. Question 19. Will says, the question isn't can you handle the situation? So what is the important question? So Will says, the question is, can you handle your mind? Can you keep hold of your emotions? Because this is true in life, panic will kill you a lot faster than doing nothing. A lot of times when you see some great disaster somewhere, a lot of people die because they all go rushing off in the same direction. Like a couple of years ago here in Spain, there was a fire in a concert hall and the people that died were crushed to death. Nothing to do with the fire, they just got walked all over by the people trying to run out of the building. So Don't panic! And lastly, question number 20. What is the final piece of advice that Will gives at the end? So the final piece of advice is to stay calm, even when you're in the eye of the storm. The eye of the storm, by the way, is the bit right in the middle. Yeah, it's the center. So with that, we've come to the end of another video. And a much shorter and easier one for me than last week. Last week was just ridiculous. So to the 10 or so regular people that seem to do these videos, I have a question. Are there any YouTube channels that you would like me to make a little video project of? Or is there anything about the format that I do that you would like to change? Do you want more questions or longer videos or shorter videos or different types of questions? Let me know in the comments down below and I will have a read and see what I can do. Anyhow, I've got to go and edit this. I hope that my noisy neighbours have not ruined the sound too much. Don't forget to subscribe, do the whole playlist thing, and share, leave a comment. Let me know what you think of this. Bye for now.